Today we're going to have a talk about the XP Gold Max Power. This is the very latest one on the Deus stem, as you can see. The features are quite straightforward. Let's have a little talk about how to start the machine and how to set it up. Firstly, you've got the sensitivity on off. Turn it on, hold the machine in the air and wait for the second sound. There you go, that's the second sound. That's telling you the machine's ready to go. So let's talk about the features on the Deus, the adjustments. Your sensitivity, that adjusts how much power goes into the soil. Sometimes you might want to turn the sensitivity right down, especially if you're in an iron contaminated area. Other times you'll turn it up. So just try and get used to what setting does what there. The iron threshold, now that's one that catches a lot of people out. The Deus runs off 2 tones or 3 tones. Let's talk about 2 tones for a minute. The low tone is iron, the high tone is good targets. But sometimes you want to adjust the point where the high tone becomes a low tone or vice versa. For example, you might want to make foil a low tone and everything else a high tone. So the iron threshold is simply an adjustment. Now if you turn it counterclockwise, you'll hear a click. Now this puts it into an auto mode. So it's got quite a high level of iron rejection. All this is a discrimination, but it uses the tones to discriminate the targets. So in auto, you're rejecting most coke and a fair bit of iron. And as you raise it up, say to the number 5, that's a good setting for most of your sites. So if you're new to the Deus, run it in auto. If you're experienced, run it around 5. But you can make fine adjustments in the field depending on how much iron contamination you've got. Let's talk about the iron volume. Now the iron volume is the low tone, and it is what it says. It adjusts the volume of the iron. So if you want your buzz to be loud, turn it up. If you want your buzz to be quiet, turn it down. If you don't want to hear the iron at all, turn it fully down and then it'll be silent. When you turn the machine on, it'll be automatically defaulted in 3 tones. If you want to make the machine a 2-tone machine, just go to the silencer, switch it down, up twice, and then that puts it into a 2-tone setting. Let's talk about the silencer. It's a 3-way toggle switch. On position 2, it's a very user-friendly machine. All suspicious targets are eliminated at source. And when I mean suspicious, I mean targets that the machine can't quite make up its mind whether they're good or bad. On silencer 1, the position in the middle, that's what most people use because it gives you a good all-round setting. On 0, it's letting through a lot more suspicious signals. Now, let me explain a little bit more about the silencer. If you can imagine, when the machine sees a target, it has to determine whether it's good or bad. Now, a good target next to iron, is it good, is it bad? The machine doesn't know because it's getting all that information, good and bad. The silencer helps the machine decide what to reject and what to accept. It's very much like a door. If you can imagine, with the door fully open, the machine's letting in all targets, suspicious, non-suspicious. So that's our silencer 0 position. As the door closes, it's filtering out suspicious signals. Position 2, it's pretty much closed and only letting through 100% confirmed signals. Anything else gets put into the reject circuit. When would I use 2? Well, if I was coin shooting and not worried too much about things next to iron, then 2's great. 2's a good beginner's mode. 1 is what most people use, and 0 is when you're working amongst iron. If you're on it using 0, the machine will work faster because it's not analysing so much. It's just whacking the signals through. But it can give you a bit of an earache. So just have a little experiment with a silencer and see what's comfortable for you. The frequency shift is for when you're using the cordless headphones with the Goldmax Power. You've got different channels to switch to depending on what headset you're using. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So if your cordless headphones aren't working, there's a good chance you've got the toggle switch in the wrong position. Ground balance. Now there's an interesting one. A lot of people mess around with this when they don't need to. It's got a preset point in the middle, and that will suit for most of your searching. So you can get a little bit more extra performance, and I mean just a little bit more, by adjusting it, bringing the ground in, taking the ground out, whatever. But that's really for an experienced user. I suggest you use it in the preset position for most of your searching. The Goldmax Power runs off 18 kilohertz, which is pretty good for most site conditions. 18 kilohertz makes it really sensitive to small targets, and it penetrates through bad ground really easily. Once again, a nice repeatable faint signal. Still down there. It's a buckle, I think it's probably medieval or something like that. A classic sign if your sensitivity is too high is lots of sparse signals. I'm just going to demonstrate what the machine sounds like if the sensitivity is too high. You get lots of chatter and lots of interference. Some of it is from the ground, some of it's from EMI. As you can see, if I turn the machine around, it's picking up EMI. So always adjust your sensitivity to suit the environment around you. I'm going to drop it back just to the edge of the red. As said before, if you're working a really junky Roman site, don't be frightened to use the sensitivity on 0. We've done this in the past. At sensitivity, you're cutting out a lot of interference. Now on a Roman site or somewhere with a lot of iron, you're not going to get depth. You're looking at 2-3 inches, but what you do need is target separation. So this is where you've got to lower the sensitivity and perhaps lower the silencer to make the machine work a bit faster. Now that's a lovely signal. There's no iron tone with it, no nothing. So it's not that deep, but it's nice and clean. Draw the coil back, and it's just on the front edge of the coil there. Just a button with a loop on it. Again, about 6 inches down with a clean signal. No mistake in that one. I've no idea what that is. Could be a pipe tamper. Don't know, it looks pretty good, looks pretty interesting. So answers on a postcard. It's definitely got some, I don't know, it sort of worked. Slightly ornamental. Iron. That's not iron. That's a nice, solid, repeatable sound. And it's our last target. I'm sorry we haven't found much on this field, but it never has been a productive site. We just wanted to get out there and show you the Goldmax Power, run through a couple of features, couple of tips. I'd like to say thank you for Regton for supplying the machine, and stay tuned, we're bound to have another Goldmax Power video up soon. So let's dig this target and see what it is. Still there, still solid signal. Although it got a bit quieter, I think we might have disturbed it. We did, and it's out. Excellent, it's a coin. We've finished on a coin, excellent stuff. It's only a farthing, nothing special, but a good solid signal, about 8 inches down. So stay tuned to Garage Detecting for more metal detecting videos as they come.